We're going to be talking about overblown, like drawn out, entitled people. And so how honesty, bluntness, sensitivity, and humility can help to bring this very big issue down. And we're probably going to throw in a few of our personal examples as well as possibly some rants here and there. So there will probably most definitely be entertainment here on this channel. So with that being said, let's get started and we'll roll that intro.
All right, everybody. So we're going to get into talking about some of our more recent experiences. Today we're going to focus a lot on false sense of entitlement and how it affects, people in like labor and retail, people in like a middle class, lower class situations, because typically you look at people with false sense of entitlements, usually think they're better than people. So it's usually where it comes from. And I mean, my biggest thing about that sense of false entitlement is just the absolute arrogance that comes along with it, to think that people deserve special treatment above others. And I don't know about you, but I saw a lot of that during the whole big COVID time period. I see a lot of it now, and there's just so much of people who are constantly trying to get special treatment because they're better, or they get easily offended because you do something that does not perfectly align with their values, even though you're completely uneducated on their values because you don't know that person.
A lot of people nowadays thinking that they're better than everybody else and that they need to, treat someone that, say, I don't know, like say they're cashing or packing or whatever, and they treat that person like they're crap, like they're beneath them because they seem to think that they are better than that worker, and that's not the case. Like, people don't seem to understand that everybody is a person, for one, and everybody has their own things going on in their life. And what bothers me is that a lot of people, to me anyways, seem to think that us as the worker at whatever store, that our issues or our whatever we're going through just doesn't matter, and it's just the customer's problems. And honestly, to me, there's a point of customer service, but then there's also a point of going over it. And I feel like if it's making you feel like crap, you have to just knuckle under all the time, I just don't feel like that's a good thing. I feel like that's just causing more of an issue than it is helping anybody, because you're telling other people that it's okay to treat you like crap in order to get what they want. I don't agree with that. If we have to respect other people, they have to respect us too.
Absolutely. And no matter what kind of service industry or any type of environment you're in, that respect has to go both ways. Whether it's, workers to customers, customers to workers, management to workers, workers to management. It all has to go every direction. And when you look at a lot of these people, they don't seem to understand that there's, we're not just some employee that's there for your beck and call. It's yes, we are there to serve you, but that does not give you the right to abuse that service. If we have to run and grab you something, cool, no big deal. But I'm not going to go and run and grab your entire cart worth of stuff for you on a whim because you feel like you deserve it. I am not going to drop what I am currently doing and just instantaneously go and help you. There is a line. For myself, there's times where I'll be working on something, finishing up a task, and somebody will come and need service. And it's a matter of, okay, I just got to finish this because I can't leave it where it is. I have to finish that stage. And they're screaming and hollering and hitting buzzers and freaking out. All because I made them wait 30 seconds.
That's ridiculous.
I'm not even talking a whole minute. I'm literally talking 30 to 45 seconds they have to wait.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they just spew off like it's the biggest insult in the world. And I think a lot of that, like, no wonder the world has a problem with like sensitivity and things like that when we're being triggered by such small things.
Mm-hmm.
And not putting that energy towards bigger things that actually matter. Yeah, it's just, to me, it's just mind-boggling how that works and how these people get into a sense of entitlement. Like, where does that even come from?
I think it's a lot of people, I think, don't have boundaries anymore. I think that people, it's like what you kind of said, like with people being overly sensitive, like call them snowflakes. Sorry, but that's exactly what they are. And like, I totally get that this video might get a little,
If you're a snowflake, leave now.
But people are so scared of offending anybody or doing anything wrong or just not being sensitive, which, I mean, to an extent, yeah, you gotta, again, respect that person, respect their boundaries, but that's the problem, is like, people aren't respecting boundaries. They're just literally being snowflakes and just not even bothering. They're not speaking their voice. They're not anything. They're literally just tiptoeing and like walking around on eggshells around people now. Yeah. And it's ridiculous. Like, that's why now, like in stores or wherever, people think that it's okay to, just tell you, hey, I want this, go get that. And they don't realize that you're an actual human being. They just think, hey, here's a person, they can do whatever I want them to do. And and they're not thinking about, hey, maybe let's respect this person. Maybe, they had a hard day today. Maybe they had a not so nice member or customer come through and now their day is a little shaken and whatever. Like,
yeah, the situational things that people just don't understand.
Yeah. Everybody just thinks about themselves and not about anybody else.
Well, it's like you said about boundaries. It's people set their own boundaries and expect those boundaries to be respected, but will not give that same respect back to the other person, and they will escalate on their demands. I had an entitled person come to get assistance from me. I had to put air in their tires and check the door placard. I don't know if anybody here knows this, but there's a little placard on your door that tells you what to fill your tires to. So I check it. It's 30 psi. And I tell the lady, I said, okay, I'm going to fill it to 32 because they're hot tires. You want to fill it a little bit more just so it goes down. She comes up to me with the snarkiest of attitudes, the most demanding of tones, telling me to go to 34. That's not a problem. And she just gives me this snarky, demanding attitude. Yeah. And if I had said no, I would have heard it. So I picked my battle on that one. And I filled her tires to 33.9. But that's just me picking my battles on that one there. And kind of being a little bit of a shithead at the same time. But
I think the world needs a little bit more of shitheadedness.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It helps counteract the bad sensitivity.
Yeah, sensitivity is a good thing to have for sure. Like, don't get me wrong, but when it becomes so much where it's like you can't even say hi to a person nowadays, it's like you say hi the wrong way, and they're like, "Oh,
I have a girlfriend."
Exactly. Well, exactly. That is ridiculous. Like, don't even get me started on that. Like, I mean, the fact that girls do that is, oh my God, that is ridiculous. Like, just because a guy comes up to you does not mean he's into you. Does not mean that he's trying to ask you out. Maybe you drop something. Do you ever think about that? Like, don't do this and make other girls look bad.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to understand that sometimes guys are just trying to be nice and being, hey, how are you? Hey, can I help you with this? It's not that they want to ask you out, and it's not that they're even wondering if you have a boyfriend. They're just being a good human.
Yeah.
And you're ruining that by treating them like dirt when all they're doing is just being nice. Like, stop being so damn entitled. Like, seriously, enough is enough already. There's really good guys out there, and he's one of them.
And then you wonder why we just don't talk to you guys anymore. It's, well, that's exactly why. Because we don't feel like, and it's not about rejection. Men can handle rejection. Well, real ones can. Real men can handle rejection. Men who have humility, self-respect, and respect for others, we can handle rejection just fine. But, you know, it's not about that at the end of the day. It's just we don't want to get shit on for saying, hey, you dropped your purse, or hey, you dropped this whatever, or, you know, hey, let me get the door for you. It's not about that. I had a lady come to work the other day, and she had a flat tire, and it was wrecked. She wanted to know what we could do for her. And we said, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can really do. Put your spare on, that's about it. And she said, oh, well, I can do that myself, no big deal, which is cool. We made a joke after saying, when we opened the door, we made a joke saying, oh, we should have told her that we had girlfriends and to leave us alone and close the door. But we figured that was a little bit spiteful. But, you know, all these people, it's like they think, oh, well, you know, this is how it is, my way or the highway. And it's like, I'm better than this and I'm better than you. And it's the reality of it is it's just not okay. And like where that comes from, I think part of it is like, part of it's got to be the way you're raised a little bit and the environment that you're raised in. And your utter lack of like having to put in that true effort to earn something. Maybe. You know, let us know in the comments below what you guys think causes people to have a false sense of entitlement. But to me, it just seems like it's something that you're raised in your environment, and you're brought up to believe you're better than other people, or that you deserve more than other people. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, it's like, you gotta understand though, regardless of how you're brought up, like it's not okay to be brought up like that, but you gotta understand that the world does not owe you anything. It doesn't owe me anything, it doesn't owe him anything, does not owe you anything. Like, you have to make your own way in this world, and like, you can't, if you're brought up that way and you technically didn't have any say in it, I understand where that could be a little bit more difficult to try and understand, and to be like noticing that there's maybe not such healthy patterns there. But once you figure it out and you notice and you're like, okay, and you accept it, you can then change it. And it's not a bad thing to change it. I mean, everybody changes. Everybody's trying to grow. I mean, he's growing all the time. I'm growing all the time. Yeah, and it's a really good thing. But I just feel, and I think he does too, that if we can somehow help and spread like maybe awareness, or maybe everyone already probably knows there's a lot of entitled people in the world, but maybe just kind of work together to like drop it down more to where we can actually maybe deal with it, where people are respecting boundaries, then I think that it's going to help a lot. And but like I get if you were raised in a different kind of way, it's going to be up to you to fix it. Like, when you're an adult, like, every parent is going to probably screw up in some way. No one's perfect. So those ways that they have, maybe things that you maybe don't agree on, or things that you just, you know, maybe need help on, it's up to you now. When you're an adult, it's not your parents, it's not their responsibility anymore. You have to find ways to help yourself, to fix yourself if there's things to fix. Like, you have to do these things. You have to grow. And that's kind of part of the entitlement thing, whereas I feel like these people have not done the work to get further ahead. They're like literally little children walking around thinking that they're better than everyone else. And the funny part is that a lot of the people that are doing that
they're not really logical. They're not thinking clearly. They're
Yeah,
like, I
it's
don't
so
know how
true.
to say it nicely.
It's
It's
true.
just they're just not all there, and they
Yeah.
think that they're right, but they're not. And it's not that I think that I'm always like, so I honestly don't. But there is a logical way of thinking about things, and
Yeah.
they do not do that. Like,
No, and you're right. And like I said, I'm glad you mentioned, like, neither you or me are going to be right all the time. And people's opinions are going to differ. People's viewpoints are going to differ. And that's fine. That's not the point of any of this either, is to change that. It's to be in more enlightenment. Because, like, I feel like a part of the problem is, like, it's, when I talk about, like, earlier, when I said about people being raised into it, I feel like they didn't achieve the generational progression that needs to happen. So you look at, like, nowadays, we're trying to be more open and respectful to different communities of people. We're trying to be more inclusive in diversity.
yeah,
But 100 years ago, there was all kinds of segregation. There was things that were illegal to be. There was just it was bad, right? And I feel like, maybe not to the full extent, but there are people out there that they did not make that generational step. So they're still behaving how generations before them behaved and I had an outlook on things, or at least they're partially influenced on that. And I think that's part of it. The sad thing is the reality of this, though, is that any type of false entitlement can't be justified. Like, there's no way to say, like, well, I was a dick to you because I'm me.
yeah, no,
That doesn't give me the right to
No.
be a dick to anybody.
no,
The homeless guy down the road is, he's a human, just like, Ellen DeGeneres or any other celebrity, and or any other homeless guy. We're all people. We all have the same capabilities, most mainly. I mean, I know there's diversity, and some people are better at things than others, and that's great. But it's about embracing that diversity. These people just don't seem to bloody well understand. They're constantly in this state of, like, do what I say or else. My way is the way.
right.
My opinion is fact. First of all, there's no such thing as a factual opinion. Okay? Your opinion may be based on fact, but then that's no longer an opinion, that is a fact. So you can't have a factual opinion.
Yeah.
You just have a fact
Yeah.
or an opinion.
Yeah.
Like, am I wrong there?
No.
I don't think I'm wrong
No.
there. That's my opinion. Showing how this, like, false sense of entitlement, how it affects, like, communities, countries, regions, the world, things like that. You look at all this and how it affects everything. So on a small scale, it affects, you and me, Joe and Mo over there. But on, like, a bigger scale, it affects, the global political climate, because you have all of these false sense of entitlement people rising into positions of power or into positions of influence, and they are then putting all of their senses of entitlement on other people, forcing them to take actions that a vast majority of people just can't agree with. And that's why we have so many, like, that's why it takes so damn long to do anything in politics, is because you've got 40 people that all have self-entitlement issues trying to demand different things and telling the other guy that he's a fucking idiot, and then this guy's telling that person that they're a fucking idiot. And
Yeah.
the reality of it is that they're all fucking idiots. And you look at and what it causes in the fights. Like, I know in Canada here we had the big freedom convoy, and a lot of people think that they were in the right to go and do that. And there's nothing wrong with protesting, but the way that they did it, the sense of entitlement that they felt they had, and the way that they showcased themselves. These people who went and protest, blocked roads, created noise issues, caused panic in the capital. Well, they're only showing the good stuff that they're doing. Oh yeah, we had a little fun thing here, and we had a little thing there, and we were all super nice. And it's just like, that's only one side of it.
Oh yeah.
And
That's
there's
all
only
you-
a side that they're showing for themselves, because they think that everything they're doing is right, but it's a flawed method.
Yeah.
A lot of people's issues is a flawed method.
Yeah, like I think that, like, you know, I think people have their, I don't know, specialties and things, or like they know certain things, but it doesn't make you right about everything. Like, that's why you want to be open to grow, open to learn things, and like learn from like the awesome people in your life. Like, I learn from him like almost every day, like,
well, and vice versa.
And we're open to learning. We're open to hearing different opinions on it. Whether we agree or disagree doesn't matter. We hear it out, and we're like, okay, well, I agree with that, or agree to disagree, kind of thing. And we're totally fine with that. And that's where I think people, like, they're so, they feel very like, what's the word? When you're, I don't know, like, very taken back when you're, like, say, you're not taking their entitlement. Like, you're not basically giving them what they want, you know? Because they're so used to getting what they want that when you come around, they don't know what to do with themselves. They're taken back, and then that's when they act out and literally act like a child, because it's literally what entitlement is, right? So
you want to watch a funny fight, watch two people with false sense of entitlements do that to each other.
Yeah, that'd be actually pretty funny. But yeah, like, it's just, we're not going to get anywhere when, you know, there's literally two entitled people butting heads. And so then sometimes there's times where I do stand up against that. It's not always fun. It's not always easy. But you know what? I think the more people stand up, the more people set boundaries, the more that people do it properly. Like as in, like, you have to be, obviously, yes, sensitive about it, but you kind of have to be like, you have to be honest and just let them know that, you know, their sense of self-entitlement is harmful to other people and very disrespectful, right? And, you know, that may piss them off, you know, but at least you did your part, and that's all you can do. Like, you did the right thing, and to help everything, like, move forward and grow, right? So
and like, one of the biggest differences between having, you know, standards and boundaries versus a false sense of entitlement is the adverse effect you have on people when it happens. Like, for me, I have my own standards, I have my own boundaries, I have the way that I want to be treated, which is actually very reflective on the way I treat people. And now, to tell somebody no is not being entitled. It's respecting your own boundaries. However, when we talk about people who are entitled, we're talking about the people who, when they hear no, they're instantly offended, and they act out in a manner that is harmful to the other person or persons.
Very disrespectful and, like, hurtful, like.
Yeah, like, these people in self-entitled, they don't understand that next to over nothing, you can cost somebody their entire livelihood, because the issue really could have been next to nothing. It could have been very minute, but because you went and caused issues and escalated the problem and did all this stuff, you can turn around. If, say, a manager is not educated enough, or, you know, has enough life experience in terms of how to deal with these situations, next thing you know, you have an employee who's having their livelihood threatened over something that really was nothing. You know, whether that's,
it's almost, no, you're totally right. And, like, it just, again, I think it comes back to, like, dealing with it properly. Like, I just, you know, I think everybody just gets so high and mighty, and they're just so sure of their own opinions, their own work, their own just everything, that they don't consider anybody else, how anybody else feels. Like, I don't know, do you guys ever consider that, like, when you go into a store and say an employee maybe isn't being the nicest to you, like, okay, I get it, it's tough, and honestly, I've been in both situations where I've been not the nicest employee, and I've also been around some people that have not been the nicest to me. But I don't go and complain. Like, you can't go and complain every single time someone's not nice to you. Like, that's entitlement right there. Like, if it's a tiny little thing, let it go.
Yeah.
You don't know what that person has been through. You don't know, like I said before, you don't know the member, customer, whatever, who came through before you. Like, you've got to understand these things. It's not all about you.
Yeah.
Like, we're human too. We have lives outside of wherever we work. You have to understand that. It's like if we came to your workplace and, you know, we found a bunch of things that were wrong that you were doing. We went and told your manager, and then, like, do you ever think that possibly, just possibly, like, again, there's something maybe going on with us, or that you may think that it's an innocent little complaint, whatever, but that could potentially cost someone's job that they really, really, really need. And how would you feel if you literally got someone fired for something really small? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, you gotta grow up. You can't be doing that to people, because again, we could come to your workplace and do the same thing to you. We're not those kind of people, but I'm just saying, people do those things. You need to be respectful. You need to be considerate towards other people and what they're going on in their lives. You understand that people that work at wherever they work, that's not just their life. That's a very small part of their life. That's a very small part of them. Respect them. Respect that maybe they went through something hard or got some bad news before they helped you. You need to be more considerate, and enough of this entitlement bullshit. Well, sorry, but it's true.
Yeah, and like, let's touch on consideration for a second there too. What does it take to just do something? You know, maybe an employee is having a rough time. Maybe they dealt with a few bad customers. Maybe there's something going on that they're having a rough go at it. Well, instead of, you know, giving them a harder time, why don't you say thank you? For the effort that they do put in. I remember, here's a good example of something that happened to me. Years and years ago, I used to work for the railroad, and it was sometime in May. Anyway, it was downpouring, and I mean downpouring. Like, not, oh, it's raining. I mean, like, dude, I could have got less wet in a swimming pool, and we had to work through it. We had to. There was no way out of it. And one of the OH&S people, Occupational Health and Safety, they couldn't stop us from working in it, but they could see we were miserable. So she rolls up on the job site, and we're all thinking, oh, great, here we go. And she goes into her trunk. She pulls out Tim Hortons, take 10 boxes, donuts. She brought us coffee and donuts, because she could see how miserable we were in the rain. And, you know, I'm not saying you have to go to that extent, but like a heartfelt thank you goes a long way.
Exactly.
And it takes less effort to say thank you than it does to go and complain to a manager and deal with all of that crap. It just, that's not how it is.
And it's
so
like,
much easier.
Why would you want to waste your time just to go do that when literally you could get your groceries and just leave and let it just go? You know, like, I feel like people need to have more of a life, honestly. Like, I know that sounds harsh, but it's so true. They need more of a life so that they're not so bothered by these.
Well, they just don't understand that, you know, how much effort it takes to knock somebody down versus how much effort it takes to build yourself up.
Like, entitlement is literally like a bully.
Yep.
It literally is, and you're literally bullying other people. You have to stop that, because this world's not going to continue to go round and round if we keep doing that.
And, you know, like you said, like bullying, like, I know we use that term a lot in like high school, middle school, elementary, but it doesn't stop there. You know, these people, that's where a lot of it comes from. And even as an adult, you can be bullied. We call it harassment and assault, but it is the same inherent thing. And these people just don't seem to understand the adverse effects.
But people are not educating.
No.
You need to educate yourself on these things. Like, I don't, like, do people not, like, they'll go into stores, do they not feel embarrassed after they do those things? Like, I would be insanely embarrassed if I ever made some employee feel like that.
Yep.
I've been there. I've been there where people treat me like absolute dirt for no reason. Sometimes maybe there could be reasons with anybody.
Yeah.
But regardless, what is the point? Like, that takes out so much energy out of you, out of me, out of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't people just let things go? Like, honestly, like, stop being a snowflake and let it go.
Yeah. Well, and you get better results. I come from a management background, and I can tell you when I go into a situation and the customer is being belligerent, arrogant, self-entitled, I am far less motivated to help that customer than a customer who comes to me with a genuine issue and just wants help.
Yeah.
I've had people, a guy call my staff cheeseheads.
That's just rude.
That is rude. And he kept insulting them, and he kept being very aggressive towards me. And, you know, I'm not the smallest guy. I'm not huge, but I'm not small either. Mm-hmm. And he decided he needed to go toe-to-toe to me. Like, physical violence, it's not going to solve any of your problems at all. In fact, in that moment, the only thing I thought about was kicking the guy out of the store. I wanted nothing to do with him. I just wanted to be done. And that's what ended up happening. I kicked him out of my store. And some people are going to turn around and they're going to say, you can't kick people out of the store. Yes, I can. My opinion on this is if somebody comes into your business that you work hard at, you work hard on, and they are treating you with complete disrespect, they're treating your customers disrespect, they're making a scene, they're treating your employees with disrespect, you have not only a responsibility, but you also have a right to kick them out of that store. I want your opinion on that, but my opinion is boot them out.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's the same thing. Like, if they're treating you like shit and treating your customers like crap and just, you know, basically destroying the whole area of your business and everything, yeah, you should be able to kick them out. Like, there's no reason that anybody should think that it's okay to go into someone's business or home or whatever and to disrespect them and the people around there. Like, who do you think you are? Honestly, like, you can't do that. You can't be that entitled where you think it's okay to basically treat them like crap, swear at them, and basically tell them that they're wrong and all this crap. Like, I mean, we've heard a lot of that kind of thing at where we work, but
yeah, absolutely.
That's just kind of where I'm taking, you know, points from. But anyway, I think you should absolutely kick somebody out. I mean, where we work, that has happened. Unfortunately, though, where we work, from what I understand, people don't normally get kicked out unless it's like quite a big thing, a big issue. Like, if it's like physical violence or anything like that. Which, I mean, okay, obviously, yeah, you're going to be kicked out for that. But personally, for me, I do think that, like, if it's like verbal abuse or anything like that, I think that they should be kicked out as well. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen that way. And I think that's also adding to people thinking, oh, I can get away with anything. I can get away with just calling them whatever. And they think that, you know, if they whine and complain, that they'll get something free. And honestly, normally that does happen. And it drives me nuts. It is sad. It is so sad. And honestly, to me, that is not customer service. That is just knuckling under and showing them that they can just walk all over you. And I don't stand for that. I don't like that. I think that's completely wrong. It's not helping anything. Yeah.
Like, there has to be a middle ground where people can make their voice heard. Respectfully, and companies can enforce policies respectfully. Because, I mean, I've seen it go the other direction too. I'm just going to say, just devil's advocate here. If you call like a government agency, whether you're paying child support and you have to talk to a maintenance enforcement, whether you have an issue with your taxes and you have to call Canada Revenue or the IRS if you're in the States, they have policies there where they'll tell you no. And if you even remotely even curse, you immediately get hung up on. Like, they are done with you. Or maybe you didn't curse in like a negative, like, obviously it's a negative way, but maybe you weren't like, like, oh, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
But you're like, they're like, yeah, so you owe us $3,000. And you're like, well, fuck. I don't think you should be hung up on for that.
I don't think you should either.
But they will. They will hang up on your ass for that. And it's like, I think that's a little far in the other direction.
That is a little far, but obviously they've dealt with probably
they would have had to
really awful people, and that's why they're so strict on it. And I mean, you know, I do get it, but like, that's kind of showing like how bad it's gotten that we need to stop this. Like, when did all this even change? That's ridiculous. Like,
no, it swings. It goes from one direction to the next.
Yeah,
you know?
but
you get raised in the whole, you know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Yeah.
And now it's, you know, better shut up if you offend people.
Yeah, but that's not okay. Like, you gotta be confident in yourself to like say, like, speak your voice, but like also not be a dick.
Yeah. Well, you have to understand, like you said, I'm glad you mentioned confidence, because, you know, part of being confident is not being offended. Part of having good confidence and self-respect is about recognizing you're offended and what kind of level you're at. I mean, I see stuff on TV that offends me, but I'm not on the phone with the MLA's office going, they're at it again.
No, exactly.
Like, oh, this is stupid. Change.
Right. Simple
I'll just
fix.
stop watching it.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, nowadays sorry, but it's like nobody has a life anymore. It's like everyone thinks that they need to just, you know, rat someone out or be a dick to somebody just to like make their day, or maybe that's their social aspect of the day. Like, that's really, honest to God, that is so sad if that's your social interaction for the day. Like, I mean, you should be ashamed of yourself, honestly, if you're going out looking for all these issues just to be rude to people. If that gets you, I don't know, that raises you up, that's a bully, and you need to stop. You need to knock that off.
Like, talking about that, I see things that are like people protesting for things, but they're causing property damage protesting. It's like, you're not doing it right. Okay, part of protesting is the expression of one's objection, but that's it. Okay, you're trying to tell people that you don't agree with something as a group, and that you need to work together to find a better way. That's what protesting is for. It is not for hate speech. It is not meant to be like because you think you're better. No. But these protesters have taken it into that direction, and they've made it like, we're better and we know better and fuck you. And
there's no research.
There's no research.
They don't do any research at all. But
they just cause property damage. They cause, you know, they harm to other people, bodily harm to other people, all in the means of this uneducated point that they're trying to make.
But, you know, causing problems in the meantime. Like,
you're just causing more problems.
That defeats the purpose. Like,
yeah, that's good. That's hypocrisy right there, 101, because you're causing a problem trying to fix a problem.
Yeah.
You can't cause problems to fix problems.
No.
You need to just communicate.
Yeah.
That is how it works. You need to have humility. People need to understand this. This is one thing that I think is highly lacking in our society, is this humility. You guys can go in the comments and tell us we're completely wrong, and we'll hear you out. We'll read the comment. Put some facts in there. Yeah. Don't call me a dick because you think I'm a dick. Because I differ my opinion from you. Call me a dick because I'm being a dick.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
or don't. I don't. Whatever. Let me
No,
know.
you're
But-
right. You're right. Don't just go in there just to be mean to people.
Yeah.
Don't just bully just for the sake of it because it makes you feel good, which is a whole other issue that you probably should go get therapy for.
I was just gonna say, if
Like-
you get a sense of accomplishment pulling people down,
Yeah.
you need therapy.
Yes, no, 100%. And that's like, we're not on here trying to knock anybody down. That is not the case. But we just feel extremely like we feel so strongly on this whole topic that we felt the need that we need to come and just say our piece, like our voice, everything on it, just because we've been in it. We've had issues in this for however long, and we want to see change in the world. We want to see that, you know, people are actually coming together in the right way. Like, I don't mean like, you know, little bit here, like groups here, groups here, groups here, groups here.
No.
I mean, like, together as we're trying to better everyone and grow the humility. Like, you need humility to...
Absolutely. And you know, even on that, you know, first thing I'll say is therapy's not a bad thing. It's not.
No, it's not. I've been.
It's a good thing to go and do. It gives you a perspective that you didn't have before.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
And having that outside perspective is part of how you effectively gain humility.
Yeah.
You see how other people see you. You see how you see yourself, and you essentially grow from that.
Yeah.
You don't belittle other people. It's just simple human growth and understanding. Okay, and there's things that people need to do that they refuse to do because it requires effort, or it requires them to admit that they're wrong or that they have a problem. And the reality of it is there's nothing wrong with admitting that.
No, and I think that's probably one of the bigger things too with the entitlement is obviously, I mean, if you can't admit that you did something wrong or you are wrong in a certain area or whatever, and you have an extremely hard time admitting that, I mean, that is kind of part of it. I mean, you're so entitled that you think you're always right, even though you're insanely wrong. It's just, I don't know, is it like a chemical imbalance? Maybe it's not. But.
Well, I think there's something to be said about, you know, they're possibly bringing some brain and chemical imbalances in there, but I think that from everything I've seen, I think that those situations are definitely not the majority of it. I think a lot of it is exposure and environment, and it really comes down to having that pride that people misallocate. I really don't think that the pervasive reason for false entitlement is chemical. I think it's environmental. I think it's people not understanding that they have an unhealthy pride. They have an unhealthy outlook on themselves, and I think it's more mental. I think that a lot of like false entitlement can be mitigated through therapy, can be, you know, can be fixed. I don't think that it's necessarily a you know, chemical medical issue. I think that people can be fixed with it. I think that people can be educated. I think that people can make themselves better. Yeah. When it comes to this topic, like, I understand some things are chemical. I understand that some things are, you know, medical.
Yeah, but you know what?
Some things require pills, but not everything. And this is not one of those things. It's you got this. Just go and get help.
Exactly. Well, entitlement is something that everybody can get help with. If it's not a chemical imbalance thing, then everyone can get help with it. You just have to put in the effort, just like everything.
Yep.
Like.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that you know, even expression is another thing. Like I said, you guys out there watching this, you guys can comment below. You guys can like. You guys can share. This is not a plug. This is me saying, like, If you agree with this, you can like it. If you think our message needs to be heard by more because you agree with it that much more, you can share it. Yeah. If you disagree with it, comment that. Yeah. Okay, put down, but don't just say you guys are fuckheads.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, exactly.
Give me a reason why you disagree with this. Yes. And you know what? If we agree with whatever it is you say in the comments, what you are doing is helping us put out good information because
it's helping us grow too.
We're growing.
Like, it's not about being mean to each other or anything like that.
We can grow, and then in like future videos, we can help spread your point. That's a good. Yeah. If it's a good point and if it's valid and everything, like we'll discuss it. We'll talk about it. We'll say, hey, like this was a really good point that was made, and that's something that we can integrate because it's all about growth. It's all about how people take in that information and that constructive criticism. I mean,
just you're coming together, you're growing,
absolutely. And you don't have to be exactly the same to agree or disagree. No. I mean, you and I have like fundamental differences, but we're friends. and when we're friends, because we understand those fundamental differences do not make us problematic. It just it makes us different. We're diverse.
But it makes it interesting. It's like fun to hang out with each other, It's not like you're hanging out with yourself, if that makes sense,
It's perspective.
It's cool to get his thoughts on things and my thoughts on things, like I said, and either we agree or disagree, but we don't turn it into a big fight or anything. No. It's either like,
and even
that's what it is.
Even if I have a point of view and you have a different point of view, and we share points of views, I may not swing over here, but what I might do is this. I might go, whoop, okay, and or she may go, whoop, or we both might just go. You know what? That's the greatest thing about that diversity and having that humility to discuss these things. When you are so self-entitled and prideful, you're just so stuck in your ways. I had a lady tell me that, putting nitrogen in tires was stupid. And that air is the better thing to use. Air is like 78% nitrogen. Like.
But that's what we're kind of talking about is.
Like, I'm not putting pure oxygen in your tire. You will die. Okay? Your tires will go. Okay? You will do a vehicular backflip on the road and potentially hurt somebody else. Regular air is just sucked in, compressed, and pushed into the tire. It's 78% nitrogen still. Then the lady was just like, I'm old. This is my point. And I'm like, that's nice.
But it didn't help any. Like, it was just nothing.
Honestly, all she made me do was not care about her point. Because her point was invalid. There was no actual evidence to support that mixed air was better than nitrogen. There was no actual premise behind it. Her only issue was her tire pressure dropped. Well, it's winter. When you go from plus 20 to negative 20, your tire pressure will drop.
100%. That's like with my tires when you come.
Yeah. That's why I checked them, was because I was like, oh, we just had a big temperature swing. Yeah. I'm going to check them. Barometric pressure dropped, everything like that. I'll check them.
It's like how, though, they again get that defensiveness because their point's not apparently valid or not right, or,
And you think about it, too, it's like, how inconvenienced are you? It took me, from the time she banged on the door to get her air pressure checked to the time I was done was, 3-4 minutes, tops.
Exactly. That's exactly it, though. Like,
are you that inconvenienced that the 3 minutes it took me to fill your tires up is like that big of an... I don't care, man.
No, exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah. Like, what more is there to say of that? That's like totally like what we're talking about.
It's such perspective too, because for me, like when I filled your tires, okay, that was, to me, was just a little bit of an opportunity to let the car warm up some more. Like, it's like, okay, start the car, let it warm up for a few minutes. Okay, go over there to where the hose reaches. Yeah. Leave the car running, let it warm up some more, then go. Right. I took an opportunity out of an inconvenience.
right? Like, that's kind of what you gotta do. You just,
Well, it's all perspective.
it is. It's all perspective, and you just kind of work with it the best that you possibly can. Like, there's no point in being negative and complaining about it all the time. Like, sure, we all complain. Don't get me wrong. We've all done it.
No, sure. Sometimes it's justified.
It is. It totally is. But when you're doing it all the time over everything, over little tiny things like the tire, my thing, that's ridiculous. Like, come on, people. Seriously. Like, you gotta knock it off. Like, it pisses me off just so much that we just can't all just come together and you know, work on things together, and not in a logical manner even. Like, just, like, I don't know.
Well, it's like, here's a case. It's just like these people, like, you complain about all these things in your life, and you wonder why you're stressed.
Yes.
It's because you're stressing yourself out. I've had people who complain, you know, that put a loaf of bread on top of their tortillas. Oh, you squished my tortillas. It's a tortilla.
It's a tortilla.
Did I put a brick on your bread?
Right.
Did I put milk on your bread? No. I mean, if you're gonna go tortilla then bread, I mean, okay, fine. It's just bread, but you go tortilla then bread, you're fine.
Right. 100%.
Like, you're just stressing you out.
Exactly. You're making that person's day crap, and you're stressing yourself out. Yeah. You're literally taking time out of your day and their day because they have to deal with it as well. And you just ruin two people's days, or even more, actually, because of the people that have to talk.
All the people in the middle, right? And it's a domino effect, because now you spend 5 minutes wasting your time. So then the next thing you go do, you're already whining about your time being wasted. So now you're wasting more time because you could have been there before, and it's like you're overcomplicating it. Just
let it go.
Yeah, let it go. If it is an issue, use respect.
100%. Like,
say,
if it's a
hey,
big
can you
enough
not
issue,
do this?
But if they listen to you and they move whatever it is, and even if they say walk away after, that's not a bad thing. That's them not wanting to cause an issue.
Yeah, that's them respecting your point and moving on with the job.
But you instead have to make it into an issue just because, I don't know, you didn't get exactly what you wanted. Well, guess what? You're not going to get exactly what you want in life. Sorry. Yeah. Bubble burster here, but you're not.
No. Like, and you're absolutely right. Like, even, okay, here's an example that just happened 4 seconds ago. I took a sip of my coffee and a coffee ground went in my mouth. Am I going to go to the company that made my coffee filters and write this big stink of a letter over a coffee ground? No. I'm going to go and be done with it.
Exactly.
That's literally all I'm going to do.
100%. Exactly. Move on with your day. Move on with your life.
Yeah.
Let things go. Don't be a snowflake.
Yeah. Now, you give a mouthful of coffee grinds. I'm just not going to buy that product.
Exactly. Like, I'm
not
going
to go complain.
No.
I'm just, next time I'm in the grocery store, I'm going to go, oh yeah, that filter's been like continuously not good. I'm going to buy this one. I'm going to try this one.
Exactly.
I'm not going to go complain. I'm not going to make somebody's life miserable.
Exactly.
I'm just going to find a solution to the problem in 100%. That regard.
Well, it's literally, like I said, it's like being a bully. Like, you trying to find issues with everything. That's literally intentionally being a bully.
Yeah.
You've got to stop.
And if you look at it, everything else, that's why we have reviews, right? That's why everybody can put in their 2 cents, good, bad, whatever. Be respectful about reviews.
Yes.
But if the product is bad, just post a review, not a dick review. No. Just, hey, I didn't like this product because of whatever. And if the company comes back with a tip on how to use their product better,
do it.
Just try it.
Yeah.
Try the tip.
Just be respectful about how you
again.
Put it out there. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no reason that being a dick does not help the situation ever.
And putting out reviews like that, you're not attacking somebody.
No.
Okay, you're not causing somebody else stress. Okay, you're just letting the company know that there might be a defect in their product or their service or whatever it is.
But people just need to look at things like you're helping others grow, or they're helping you grow, or and it's not about being mean. It's not about being a bully. It's not about being a dick. Okay, it's not about being like you don't need to be entitled to get your point across. Like,
That's
you
right.
really don't.
No, absolutely.
Just be respectful and you're fine.
Yep. It's all about that respect, that humility, and just that understanding that, you know, not everything in this world is going to revolve around you or the next person. I always like this example I've seen, and it showed a picture of a person, and then it showed a picture of their city they lived in, then their country, then Earth, then the solar system, then the galaxy. And basically its whole point was, you matter, but you're not the center of the universe.
Exactly.
You are important, but
yeah,
so is everybody else.
100%.
You're important, I'm important.
Yeah.
All of you guys are important.
Yep.
All there. And you need to treat that way, right? I don't want people coming at me, freaking out at me, or freaking out at my bosses, getting me in trouble. So when I go to their work, I don't do that to them.
Exactly.
If I have a severe issue, like I've gone into places and they have been very rude. And I mean like justifiably, like I've gotten into stores and they told me to go fuck myself.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All because I asked for like a substitution. It was in a restaurant actually, I remember. I asked to have something substitute because I have issues with sugar. And so I just asked if that was a possibility. I didn't say, hey, do this.
Right.
I said,
Yeah.
would it be possible
Yeah.
to take, I think it was, what was it? Oh, it was like it was a syrup on pancakes. And I was just like, hey, would it be possible not to put that on the pancake for me? Like, just don't do that. And
Yeah, but don't you put your own syrup on the restaurants?
Not always.
Okay.
This was some sort of strawberry crap that went on.
Oh, okay.
But it was like, I can't remember. I think it was one of those like breakfast diners.
Okay.
And I said, hey, can you not put that on there? And she's just like, and I was just like, I mean, is it impossible? Like, does it come that way? And she was just like, go fuck yourself. So I was like, okay, we're done. Like, I was like, we're done. Okay. All you have to say is yes or no.
Yeah. Like,
and
yeah.
That's it. Just yes or no. It's like, yeah, we can remove that. Or no, the product comes like that. Like, we can't take it off. It's pre-prepared like that.
Right.
And you know, if you tell me that, I'll just order something else. 100%. I'll be like, oh, okay, thanks for letting me know. Well, like, how about this?
No, 100%. Like, that's where, yes, I totally understand where she probably, or he or whomever.
It was,
it
doesn't matter, but it was a woman.
Should have, probably just explained to you, because that is part of the job description for sure. 100%.
Yeah. And I wasn't like, you know, completely an ass because like maybe she had a rough morning. Yes. I don't know. Yeah. You know, so I just said, okay, well, we're done here then. And I said, like, I'll leave. I'll go to a different diner. Like, I didn't even complain to the management. Right. I just left.
You just left, yeah.
I just said, no thanks. Like, you know.
No, that's exactly like how you should do it. Like, I know, like, I don't know personally, because I'm also not one of those people. I don't like intentionally and willingly go and complain. I usually just like will talk to that waitress, whatever, and see what we can do. And if not, then yeah, you just kind of leave. And you know, like, why ruin someone's day even worse? Like, I don't understand that mentality when people like, they're like, oh, they're having a bad day, let's go bug them some more. It's like, no.
See, and I had a hunch that she was just having a rough go
exactly
at it. And I remember it wasn't like right away, but like I think a couple months later I ended up going back there because one of my friends wanted to go there. Same waitress. Night and day experience. She was totally fine.
Yeah, see, and that's like, there you go.
That's part of why I didn't complain, was because I didn't know her whole situation. I didn't know what, maybe it was early in the morning. I think we went for breakfast at like 6:30 in the morning, I think. For all I know, she was on like the late night shift and had to deal with all the drunks. And maybe they caused issues, stressed her out, whatever.
100%. That's a great example of.
But the next time we went, now to be fair, if that second time, if she was a total disrespectful person to me the second time around, fair. I probably would have complained, because then it's like, okay, now we got some consistency here.
Exactly, consistency. Fair enough. One time, that's not fair.
Just let it go.
Exactly. Just let it go. 100%.
So.
No,
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like, people don't. They need to understand that. They need to move forward with their own lives, and everyone is capable of it. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm gonna say that everyone is capable of kindness, understanding, and respect.
Yeah.
It's these are not complicated things to do. They are an actionable equivalency to smiling. It is not that complicated. Yeah. And I know it looks different for everybody, but at the end of the day, the fundamentals to respect, humility, they're all the same. Mm-hmm. On a fundamental level, I understand everybody's behavior, cultural backgrounds, diversity, everything like that does kind of change how they represent those things, but on a fundamental level, they come from the same place. Mm-hmm. So, that's like if you're over in, say, Japan and you bow, and then you come over to America and you shake hands. Those are culturally different gestures, mm-hmm. but they fundamentally come from the same mm-hmm. place. It's a respectful greeting. Yeah. And so humility, respect, all that stuff is fundamentally, it's mm-hmm. the same kind of deal, mm-hmm. right? In my mm-hmm. opinion, anyway, it works the same way. Mm-hmm. So, and the other question is, we all know from your other channel, you talk a lot about anxiety and how you have found ways to live with it, mitigate it, make it better, make it so that, everything like that. So, like, what mm-hmm. in your experience, how has, falsely entitled people affected your anxiety or hindered your ability to go on your day without any real big anxiety episodes or anything like that? Like, what's your kind of take on that? What's your perspective?
Yeah. So, like, with having anxiety already, like, I don't necessarily have, like, much of, like, any social anxiety all that much, but just regular anxiety where I'm already freaking out about just random things. And you're, like, for me, I'm already freaking out about, like, I don't know, like, what am I gonna make for dinner? Like, I worry about my family, everything, like, just everything. I worry about, like, the drive home because it's icy, I'm just thinking about all these things, and, it probably doesn't help that I'm a girl. But, when you're already thinking about all this stuff and then you end up, like, coming face to face with an entitled person, like, say, at work, like, usually it is at work because that's where we spend most of our time. But when I'm already worried about all this other stuff and probably other things at work as well, I'm probably worried about, like, coming face to face to one of these people, it just makes all of that way worse. Like, I know that, like, one person probably shouldn't affect you in a big way, and it's not that they necessarily do. I think it's just piled up from everything else, and then you run into a certain person and they just, like, literally try mm-hmm. to make your day hell. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, what goes and that's when, like, I think in that sense it affects my anxiety. It's not that it necessarily gives me anxiety, it just affects it even more. Yeah. But that's also why I say don't go out there trying to, intentionally ruin someone's day, like help that person or whatever, but, like, don't make things worse on someone because, again, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know if they have really bad anxiety mm-hmm. and they have it under control at that moment, or they have depression or whatever it is. You have no idea. So you going out of your way trying to hurt or harm or whatever someone with your entitlement bullshit is not okay. That's absolute complete bullying, and honestly that should be zero tolerance everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And coming from that, I like the fact that you touched on how it affects it rather than adds to it or, like, causes it. Mm-hmm. But even for myself, I live with depression and complex post-traumatic stress disorder, mm-hmm. and the reality from behind all of that is that when people come at me with this false sense of entitlement in a very belittling and aggressive manner, it in different ways, depending on how they do it, it can trigger or like affect or cause issues to, stuff that I have to live with on a daily basis due to traumas that I've had in the past. And like living with CPTSD, it's a big part of that. When people pull this like self-entitlement, arrogance on you when you're living with that, and I mean, my situation anyway, it makes me feel very segregated. It makes me feel very, it makes me feel pushed away. It makes me feel, that I really can't rely on people, that I can't go to people, I can't trust people. It causes a lot of these issues, especially trust issues for me.
Yeah.
Which is why, the last few years it's been a little bit easier because I have Amanda as a friend who I can always trust, and having that circle, that's a big thing that really you can fall back on to help out when these people cause these issues or like exacerbate or affect these issues. But that's what these people are doing. Like you said, like don't go out there trying to make somebody's day miserable.
No.
Don't go out there trying to push people down because you don't know what they're going through. Like, and it goes both ways.
But see, sorry.
No, that's okay.
But the one thing that I kind of wanted to say is like, again, yes, you're right. We don't know what someone's going through, but I don't think that it's also fair because like I've had that phrase said to me before about, hey, you don't know what someone else is going through, so da 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 da. But that was basically me getting in shit, and that phrase being thrown onto me, and I'm like, hey, well, what about me as well? I'm not trying to be like, hey, oh, what about me? But it's like, if we're gonna do this, it needs to be equal, and I'm very much on the equal, like, and don't come at me saying, oh, you don't know what they're going through, so you need to do this, this, and this. No, they also don't know what I'm going through. Yep. So what about the respect towards towards me? And
that's where it all needs to be mutual, right? Because, and like honestly, I've known you a long time. I can tell you when you're going through like shit and life's stressful and life's causing you more issues, you're more of like the reserve type. Like you get a little quieter, and you're less energetic, but you're not hostile.
No.
You're not.
No.
You're not like somebody comes through, you're not like, oh, go fuck yourself.
No.
You're just
no.
You just do your job, you put your head down, do your job, go home.
Right.
That's what you do. And
well, people think that when you're quiet or you just walk and go to the next person that's rude, and I can understand how that could be. Right. But at the same time, just let it go. Yeah. Let that person, if that person just doesn't want to talk to people, let them not talk to people. They're not trying to be rude. And then
that's the situation where you say, well, maybe they're going through some stuff and I should just respect
100%. Exactly. But nobody...
That's where it comes through, and that's where you should use that because they're not being hostile towards you.
No.
They're not.
No.
They're just doing their job.
Exactly.
And yeah, they may not be bubbly and friendly all the time, but they are just trying to do their job.
But you also don't have to be bubbly all the time.
No.
Everybody has their own personality, and just because you think that they should be bubbly does not mean that they should be. So don't be a bully and don't come at them with stupid complaints or whatever. Yeah. Just because you're having a bad day or just because you're bored.
Yeah.
Like...
That's right, like that whole you don't know what they're going through. That 1,000% goes both ways. And it's just about that mutual respect. Everybody should respect everybody else. There's that common human respect that you just give.
Well,
and that's what everybody deserves.
Well, yeah, it's not like these big, obviously there's big things that go on in the world and stuff, but I think a big contributor is the whole false sense of entitlement, all of that.
It's a taking motion that people do. Like,
you get rid of that, and we'll be good.
Yeah. Like if I give the respect out that everybody deserves to have, then great. That is literally all I want back from people. I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, I'm going to give you 10% respect but you have to give me
Yeah,
50% respect.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
not fair. And that's
No.
what this entitlement is all kind of
Exactly.
wrapped around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we say that the basic human respect is 10%, just as a benchmark,
Mm-hmm.
just as a number, this isn't like it's science, this is literally an example, then that's what everybody should give everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what everybody should expect from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody gives you 20%, awesome. You know what? Go to their manager and compliment them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're willing to spend 5 minutes insulting them, why don't you go spend a
Right?
minute? Why don't you go spend a minute or 5 in complimenting them,
Yeah.
right?
No, exactly.
It's just do that.
Exactly.
And
Like spread
You know.
good things and respect, and we're all equal. Like we really are. Like
yeah, people need to stop being so problem focused and start
Yes.
being more solution
yeah,
focused.
exactly. Like
And
just people are good and they're treating you well, and treat them well, and and like
educate, right? Educate.
yeah, exactly. Like sometimes you just gotta let things go.
And that's in itself a lesson right there too, because I would love it so much if a person who say you're working and somebody came through and you gave them service and they complained. I would love to find out if they worked in the same industry and you went through with them
Yeah.
and they gave you and you complained. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, do you want that person coming through and doing the same thing to you?
Exactly. But like I think
Odds are the answer is no.
everyone should be, honestly, I think everyone should work in customer service, like the service industry, at least once in their life, because people that have not, they have no idea. And it's funny because you guys treat us like we're way beneath you, when honestly we're really not. Like, we probably have a lot more humility and respect than you probably do. Like, sorry, it's probably pretty harsh, but
But sometimes it's a harsh truth. It's a reality, right?
it's
I do agree with that. I think there are countries out there that have mandatory service in the military. Great. Well, you go have a mandatory, go work at Safeway. Okay? Go work in a grocery store, in a mall, in somewhere the customer service based. And I think everybody should, absolutely.
Yeah,
Everybody should get a couple years experience in a service industry just so they can see the other side of it.
100%. Like, it's just, I think that, people should not be degrading other people based off of what they make or their job or whatever. Because honestly, I'm assuming still now it's hard to get jobs. Like it's hard to just to find steady work and all, to get full-time jobs. Like, you may be able to get a job, but it might just be part-time. And say you own a house, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like you can't belittle people based off of what they make or how much they make or what they do or where they work. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, you're a good person, you got a job, good job, good for you. Like,
contribute to society, respect each other, and help each other grow.
Yeah, exactly. It's simple.
These are not hard things
They're
to
not.
do.
No. Not at all. But as you can tell, it pisses me off.
Well, it should. That's the thing that people should be mad at. And you know what? Like, I'm going to say this. If everybody took time out of their day to do two things, the world would be a better place, in my opinion. Those two things are learn something new and do a good deed. Every single day. That's your checkbox. You have to do at least one of each. Now, do 10 good deeds. I don't care. But you have to do at least one. The world would be such a better place.
It would be.
Everybody, because then everybody have this mentality, because you're in this habit. It's like making your bed every day. If you're in the habit of giving a good deed every day, and that doesn't have to cost money.
No.
That doesn't have to cost a lot of time or effort. It just has to be something kind.
Yeah, that's small. That makes you feel good as well as somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, it really, like, honestly, the best things usually don't cost a bunch. They're not big, ginormous things.
No, they don't.
They're usually small, really nice things. Yeah, very simple things. So,
So, absolutely. So, and in regard to, like, all that, I hope that this video has been educational for people who, I hope there are people that have, a false sense of entitlement watching this and going, oh, I do that. I should stop doing that. because I feel like the way to educate people is to like kind of make them aware.
Yeah.
And
Most with anything.
and spread that awareness about like, you know, how other people, like you see it from another person's perspective, right? You're seeing like this kind of experience. I hope you guys are taking that. You're taking it from like my perspective and Amanda's perspective, because it's what we're trying to do here. Is like we're trying to, you know, diversify the perspectives that you guys see on a regular basis, and educate and show how behavior affects others, but not in a overly sensitive manner. I mean, we're not sitting here going like, I was offended.
No.
We're just saying, quit being dicks to each other.
Yeah.
Quit putting more effort into negativity than you do positivity.
Yeah, exactly.
That is one thing that I think would make a lot of people better too. Like these people with false sense of entitlement, I think they can be better. I think that they
100%.
absolutely can be.
Well, it's exactly like what I said. Like, I mean, as you get older, you grow and learn, and you work on the things that maybe you didn't work on when you were a kid. I mean, I've had to do that, so have you.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Gosh, like the first time that we both met each other, I don't know, I think we were maybe kind of both messes, like, not in like...
Not in like a tragic way.
No.
Like just in like...
No, but just in a, like a... I think we were both like transitioning into like a better life for ourselves, but we were just at the start of it, and we like both came into each other's lives and became really, really, really good friends because I don't know, I think we were just supposed to help each other, and we were supposed to be here, and like if it wasn't for him, my God, I don't know where the hell I would be.
Well, and vice versa too.
Yeah.
Like when I first met you, I was transitioning environments in my life, which was a big thing for me. And you know, like for you, in that transition through that environment, you helped guide a lot through it, and you helped me see other perspectives on how to view things and how to like.
Well, so did you for me though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there was lots of things in my life. Like, I mean, I like to think that I was like I've always had a pretty good head on my shoulders, but like when you came along though, then I don't know, like this whole like I don't know, I'm gonna say it probably really wrong, this whole like logical smarticle world came around. It's not that I didn't know these things, but like I think when I first met you, I was very like close-minded in some ways, not always, but in some ways, and like thank God that you came around because like it's helped a lot being more open-minded and seeing things and being more aware of just everything, you know. So
well, I appreciate that a lot. You know, like in my life, you coming into my life was like, you know, you just made my life like more organized, more forward thinking. Like I was less, like I guess if I made it more logical, smarticle, you made it more like, you know, organized and less scattery. So I mean, like both of us, we helped each other in different ways, but like, at the same time, like we made each other. That's just what we're saying too. Is like you find people in your lives that you know are different, and you bounce each other off of each other to make ideas that and different world like perspectives that improve both lives. And that's like what we did for each other. Yeah, like I actually like just saying like I don't think I've actually ever had like I mean obviously I've had friends, but like I don't think I've ever had like a friend like you, like in a very good way. Like I don't think I've ever had someone that like we're so different but we fit so well as friends and we help each other so well in like life. Like it's really quite nice, and like just actually like having someone that's like actually always there. Like they're not just saying, hey, I'm always gonna be there, and the time you need them they're like gone. Yeah, I've had that happen to me so many times, but not with you, which is awesome. No, not with you either. Like you're always there and I can always count on you, which is like amazing, because like there's some days where oh my God, you know, I mean, I don't know if it's good to say, but sometimes I'm like, well, that's been a real shitty day. Let's go play in traffic. Yeah, well, and then there's me going like, nah, let's watch a movie. Yeah. Just, you know, and that's what's nice is like, you know, he actually like understands me and like, well, as much as he possibly can. I mean, he's still a guy.
but just kidding. But no, understands me really well. So it's kind of nice. Actually takes the time to hear me out and understand me and try to understand as best as you can. So that's really nice.
It's all about that perspective too, and that's what you help with me too. Is like when I have like a hard time wrapping my head around stuff because like I just can't understand it. It's like you don't sugarcoat it. You don't beat around the bush. You say what it is and how it works and how to get around it or work with it or whatever. And it's always good advice. It's always something I can count on whenever I'm in need of that. And like it's always like if I know like if I need to, I'll just come here and just be like, hey, this is fucked. And you'll be like, well, I guess we gotta unfuck the fuckery. So that's what we end up doing. And it's just it works. It's awesome. And everybody should have that in their lives. And everybody should bounce things off each other. Yeah. That's how you become better.
Well, yeah, exactly.
How you become better is shared perspectives.
Yeah, and something you can count on.
Yeah.
I mean, there was lots of times where I couldn't count on a lot of people.
Would you rather have 4 quarters or 100 pennies?
Just kidding. 4 quarters.
All the pennies.
All the pennies. No,
let's go
4
with the
quarters
right?
for sure.
It's a better value. Yeah.
Well, when you get older, you just realize that. But that's kind of going off topic.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, that's what it is about that. It's about that humility.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I think we like covered.
Be humble.
Everything, yeah.
Be respectful.
Yeah.
And be open-minded. You'll be a better person for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of be more, understanding to people and their stuff, and don't treat them like they're a number or that they're below you, because no one is. No one's below anybody. I don't give a shit on what your career is. I don't care how much money you make.
That's right.
All that matters is if you're a good person and you treat me well, and I do the same with you. That's literally
1000%.
Yeah.
100. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is our first video on our new channel.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a little bit lengthy, but there was just a lot of things that we wanted to put in here, wanted to say, that we felt really strongly about. Hopefully it goes over well.
Yeah, if you guys like it, let us know. Give us comments below. We'll read the comments.
Yeah, like hit the notification bell, like, share, subscribe, all that fun, good stuff down below. And yeah.
And you guys just, grow, learn. Like I said, do something nice. Everybody can be better for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going with that.
Throw stuff, right?
Right? You want a fun fact?
Be like, okay, ready?
You know what's sad? This cup's been empty for 10 minutes and just keep pretending stuff on it. Just have some movement in the frame.
Your turn. Ready?
Alright. Oh, I almost got it. That's good.
My skin's like so
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. I just want to see.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay. Add it up.
No,
No.
I don't want it. No, I don't want it. No.